Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacko. And my next live stream, this is my third live stream now. This will be on fractions. Yeah, everything to do with fractions, this one. So I'm going to start off really basic and then go up and up and up, okay? And the skills will increase. It'll involve simplifying fractions, expressing fractions, ordering, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. So loads of skills there. Doesn't matter if you're in primary school or high school, it'll still apply. Right. So remove that comment, so it's not on there now. Right, so first one, 12 over 60. So you've got to look for this keyword here where it says simplest form. It basically means, a lot of teachers say cancelling down fractions. It's the same, but basically you're not making the fraction smaller, you're just simplifying the fraction. So if you have 12 over 60, asking what number goes into 12 and 60? Yeah, what's a factor of 12 and 60? An easy way to do it, if both these numbers are even, you can keep halving it. So it'll be 6, 30, and then 3, and that'll be 15. And then now you've got two odd numbers. So then what number goes to 3 and 15? Well, you can divide that then by 3, divide this one by 3. So that'll be 1 over 5. Yeah. Or you could go straight to that from 12 and divide by 12 and divide by 12. Yeah, you could do it that way as well because 12 is a factor of 12 and 60. Right, next one. Yeah, again, it's 18 over 40. And you can keep halving it. So it'll be 9 over 20. I'd always say just half it makes it easier. And now this cannot be simplified anymore. There's no number that goes into 9 and 20. Yeah, apart from 1. And you'd be back to where you started if you did that. Right then. So, next one. 28 over 36. Fraction simplest form. Right, yeah, again, I will just keep halving it. 14. And that is 18. That is 7. And that is 9. Yeah. And that is as much as that would go. 40 over 18, 7 over 9. And that can't be simplified anymore. Yeah, I've just kept halving it. Right, that is simplifying. These normally in an exam are around 1 mark each. Okay. Yeah, around 1 mark each. So you have to go straight to the correct answer. Okay. Right. Next one. So still on simplifying an equivalent now. This is linked to simplifying because these fractions are all equivalents. Yeah, they are the same. This one equals this one. This one equals this one. It's just simplified. They're not different sizes. They all equal each other. So we need to find which of these fractions is equivalent to 3/4. Well, the same. So I'll put 3/4 here. Right. So which are the same? So can 3 and 4 be multiplied by the same number to get these answers? Well, yes, because 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. 4 multiplied by 5 is 20. So this is equivalent to 3/4. It's the same. Does it apply here? So it does say which is not equivalent, but by doing this, it makes it a bit easier. So 3 can be multiplied by 11 to get 33. 4 can be multiplied by 11. So this one's also equivalent. Now, isn't that the same? Yeah, I'm just going to put it next to it. Well, 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. So that is also equivalent. Now, 4 I know goes into 32, can be multiplied by 8. But 3 multiplied by 8 does not make 26. Yeah, it makes 24. So then this is the one here that is not equivalent. Yeah. And this one here, just to double check. Well, 3 multiplied by 7 is 21. And 4 multiplied by 7 is 28. So it is this one here. And what I'll do, I would then write it down here, 26 over 32, just to make it really easy for someone who is marking your exam to go straight to that. Okay, so next one. There are 26 sweets in a bag. So we're going to use that number in some way. 15 of the sweets are red. The rest of the sweets are white. What fraction of the sweets are red? So firstly, of the 26, 15 are red. So I'll be doing 26 subtract 15, which gets me 11. So I know if 15 are red, white must be 11. And if this is an exam, you'll get a mark for that already. It says 1 mark here. Sometimes this type of question could be 2, possibly if there's a bit more to it. So it says, what fraction of the sweets are red? So, this one, realize this one. Oh, so this one is actually 15 over 26. Just realize then we didn't need to do that. Well, it doesn't matter though, because you never know. I just read the question line by line. In this instance, we didn't actually have to do that. That's why it was 1 mark. If it was 2 marks, that it probably meant you would have to use that number we just worked out if it was 2 marks. But 15 over 16, so what's for red, and what fractions of the sweets are red. Yeah. Right. Well, there's no harm in working out more than you need to. Right, let's have a look at the next one. So, 2 fractions, 3/10, 5/7. Work out which of the fractions is closer to 1/2. You must show your working. Right, these are really difficult to compare when the denominators, I would say that, denominators are different. So what we need to do is make the denominators the same. So what is a common multiple between 10 and 7? So what number is in the 10 times table and the 7 times table? Well, I know that is 70 is in both. You could use 140, 210, but that's just really big numbers. So then I'm going to convert this into this and create an equivalent fraction. So 10 multiplied by 7 is 70. So that means you have to do 3 multiplied by 7, and that gets me 21. Now, how many 7s are in 70? That's 10. So that would be multiplied by 10. So you have to do 5 multiplied by 10, which is 50. Now, bear in mind, this is 3 marks, this question. So you are expected to do a bit of working out. So this will get you a mark already. And now, if you use a half, because that's what it wants to know, a half, what is that in terms of 70ths? So then what's half of 70? That's 35. Yeah, so which of those 2 numbers is closest to 35 over 70? Well, I'll tell you that is 21 over 70. Yeah, because that's within 14. That's within 15. So your answer is 3/10, which is closer. Yeah, because 3/10 is closer to a half. Yeah, and that's clear you're working out as well. You'd get your last mark. Well, you'll probably get a mark for this one as well. So that'll be 2 marks. Your last mark will be stating which one. You have to state your answer. So 3/10 is my answer. Right. Next one, let's step it up a bit more. These are quite straightforward questions. You'll find these at the start of an exam paper. Yeah, quite straightforward. Oh, next ones. I have got a few pages of questions today. I've tried to find loads on fractions, just loads of different things to help you. Right, quite straightforward. 1/6 of 420. So you only find 1/6. So if you imagine it is a bar, I'm simplifying it down. I know a lot of you probably don't need this, could work it out straight away. I won't do this for every single question because that'll take a lot of time. I'm just for a couple of them, just so you can really see. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 bar, that is worth 420. Bar modeling is quite big in terms of teaching. A lot of teachers use it as a tool to show fractions, ratios, and percentages. So I've got to break this up into 6s, onto 6 equal parts. So 420 divided by 6, which equals 70. Quick way to do that, I know 42 divided by 6 is 7, so I just added a 0. So now each one of these is 70. I'll show you this way because if the question is a little bit harder, I can show you, it works for other ways as well. So if that says 2/6 or 3/6, you can do the same way. Because it wants 1, we just circle one of them. Yeah, so our answer is 70. Whereas if you're using this method here, if that's a 2, 3, 4, 5, then I'll have to calculate, 3 70s, 4 70s, and so on. Right, next one. So 1/4 of 44. I'm not going to do the whole bar model this time. You could draw a bar split into 4, but I'm just going to do 44 divided by 4, which is 11. And as it only wants 1, a lot of people say divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. So if being really pedantic, going through it thoroughly, I'll then multiply it by the top number, 11. Yeah, and I'll do that on this one now. So let's box that one off. So 56 divided by 7, which equals 8. And then 8 multiplied by 3, which equals 24. When I teach this, I always start with this first, and this method. And when students get more confidence and more comfortable with this, I'll then move into something more like this, where it's just do the numbers working out, okay? But if you really don't know what to do, this is always the best bet. We always say draw a picture. It's your easiest go-to method. Right, let's go down. So as you can see, that one there is 2 marks because you have to do 2 things. Right, so a bit more wordy now. Holly is thinking of a number. This is where that bar modeling would help this type of question. Holly is thinking of a number. 3/4 of Holly's number is 39. Work out the number Holly is thinking of. This way you've got it's a bit of a problem solving now and applying that. A lot of people, big mistake, will do 39 divided by 4 multiplied by 3. And they'll get that. They'll get a really mad decimal and get really confused. So what I would do is at this point, this is where I would draw a bar. 2, 3, 4. Split into quarters because that's the denominator. Right, it's telling us that 3/4 of Holly's number is 39. So that means these 3 boxes make 39. So then, to find out what goes in each one, I have to do 39 divided by 3, which is 13. So I know each one of these boxes is 13, including this one there. So then the original number, I just do 13 multiplied by 4, which is 52. Yeah, so that's where the bar modeling really helps for these types of questions, so you don't fall into that trap of always divided by the bottom, multiplied by the top. Right, same again, but I picked this question purposely because it uses n, yeah, and this can throw students off, yeah, when it brings algebra into it. So then 2/5 of number is 18, draw a bar, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2/5, so then those 2 boxes make 18, and to get this, you do 18 divided by 2, which equals 9, so that's 9 and 9, 9, 9, and 9. And to get the whole answer, do 9 multiplied by 5, and that is 45. That is it. Yeah, nice, straightforward. Right, so these will be a bit further on in the exam as well, so a bit more challenging. The normal price of a train ticket from Ashford to London is £34.20. Obviously, in other countries, you might dollars. It doesn't matter what it is. The concept of the questions are the same. So it doesn't matter if where you're watching this from. It's still the same type of question. The normal price of a train ticket from Ashford to London is £34. Ross gets 1/3 off the ticket price of the price of his train ticket. Work out how much Ross pays for his ticket. So this time we're finding out 1/3 and we're taking it off. So I'm then going to do £34.20. I'm going to find 1/3 of it. So we're going to divide it by 3. To find 1/3 of something, you divide by 3. In future questions after this, I'll use a calculator to speed it up, but just while I'm doing this, I can show you dividing decimals. So then bus stop, you can still do exactly the same way. 3 into 3 is 1. 3 into 4 is 1. Carry 1 over. 3 into 12 is 4. Like that. Yeah. Questions after this, I may just use a calculator just to speed it up. So then I've got £11.40. I know that's 1/3. That'll be a mark in the exam. So that's where I would give a mark. And now I've got to take it off my original. So I'll be doing £34.20, subtract £11.40. Yeah, common subtraction. So 0 taken with 0, that's 0. 2 minus 4, you can't do that. So you borrow. That becomes 3, and that's 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So our answer is £22.80. Right, and so next one, let's step it up a little bit. Oh, we're going into adding fractions now. Right then. So now it's where it's going to get a little bit more tricky. Okay, so we're looking at adding fractions. So this one, look, we'll start easy now. Right, just checking the question in the back, see if it starts off easier. Go straight into this. So this is actually a skill you learn in primary school. However, a lot of students get really confused, and typically in GCSE exams, a lot of students get these type of questions wrong. And I think because they've done it so many times, they forget little basics of it. The biggest wrong answer is people just add the top numbers, add the bottom numbers, and they'll put 4 over 15, which we know that's a wrong answer. So we need to think what number is in the 10 and the 5 times table. So I'm going to do 50 because I know that's in both. You could do 100. You could do 20. To be honest, you could do 20 as well. It's probably a bit easier. But for this, I'll just use 50. You'll still get the same answer. Right, so how many 10s go into 50? Well, that is 5. So then I need to do 1 multiplied by 5. So that'll be 5. How many 5s go into 50? That is 10. So then I need to do 3 multiplied by 10, which is 30. And now I just add across, and that'll be 35 over 50. It doesn't say simplify my answer. So technically, that is fine as an answer. I don't need to do anything with that. But just for in case it did, I can divide both of those numbers by 5. So that'll be 7 over 10. But I don't need to do that. Both of those answers are fine. If that was something over 20, or it doesn't matter which number that is, that'll be fine as well. So there's quite a few different answers. Remember, they are equivalent fractions. Yeah, that word we're using before another question. Right, same again, skills same, but we're subtracting instead of adding. So what number is in the 3 and the 4 times table? So that'll be 12. So how many 3s and 12 is 4? So I have to multiply this fraction by 4. So that'll be 8. How many 4s and 12 is 3? So this fraction needs to be multiplied by 3. So 1 multiplied by 3 is 3. And now our answer, this one will be 5 twelfths. It doesn't say simplify, but that's simplified anyway, in case I was wondering. Right, multiplying fractions is probably the easiest one to do, because this one is literally where you just multiply the top numbers and multiply the bottom numbers. So I just do 3 multiplied by 4, which is 12, 4 multiplied by 9, which is 36. Now, the rest of this question here, give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. So this way you'd simplify that. So because they are both even numbers, do you want to write it down here? It's got a bit more space. Because they're both even, I'll just keep half in it. 18, that'll be 3 over 9. That can go again to 1/3, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Yeah, nice and easy. So do pause this video, because I'm going to record this video as well. So it's live at the minute, so you can't pause it. But you can go back and watch these and go over it a bit slower so you can keep up. Right. So you are watching live now. Do try and get ahead of me, so you can answer the question before I do. Right, so 4 9ths plus 3 5ths. So what number is in the 9 and the 5 times table? So that'll be 45. Right, some really bad teaching, and what some teachers will do, they will just say, oh, we do this, just multiply the bottom numbers, which in this instance, that is clearly the easiest one in this one. However, that's really bad advice, okay? So I wouldn't always do that. It's better to find a lowest common multiple, because if you just always multiply the numbers, you're going to get a really big answer sometimes, okay? So I don't always do that. It's bad teaching. Right, how many 9s go into 45? That is 5. So 4 multiplied by 5, which is 20. Then how many 5s into 45 is 9. So this needs to be multiplied by 9. So that'll be 27. And then I can just add across. So that'll be 47 over 45. Now, just going to draw a line around this. Let's see. So that's 47 over 45. You might have noticed that is the technical terms are improper fraction, because the numerator is larger than the denominator by 2. That's 47, that's 45. Some people call it a top-heavy fraction. And it does say give your answers a mixed number in its simplest form. So to do this, I have got a video on this as well. How many 45s go into 47? Well, that is 1. So you put a big 1 like this. Then what's left over? You got 2 and 45. And that's it. That's your mixed number. And it is in its simplest form. That can't cancel down or simplify anymore. That 2 over 45. Right. Next one, dividing fractions. So I'll just put a line like this. Give myself plenty of space. So there's an acronym we use for this one. Keep, flip, change, or KFC. Yeah, it's a nice, easy way to remember it. We all like KFC. Keep, flip, change. I'll write it out for you. Keep, flip, change. Okay. Right. So what does keep mean? We keep the first fraction. So that stays as 3/5. We flip the second fraction, 8/3, and we change the divide to multiply, because multiplying is the opposite or the inverse of divided. So 3 multiplied by 8, which is 24. 5 multiplied by 3, which is 15. Right, so then I'll do this down here just so I've got more space. I mean, 15 is going to 24. That is 1. And then what's left over is 9/15. Be careful. It does say in its simplest form. So then you'll keep the 1 as it is. What number goes into 9 and 15? Well, that's 3. How many 3s are in 9 is 3. How many 3s are in 15 is 5. So 1 and 3/5. That is it. Right, next one. So subtracting again. For loads of practice. So if you had to go to the last one and couldn't get it, have a go at this one. See if you can do it before I go through it. So what number is in a 6 and a 7 times table? That is 42. Right. And how many 6 in 42 is 7. I'm going to go through it a bit quicker now because you should have an idea of it. So then 6 times 7 is 42. 5 times 7 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. 1 times 6 is 6. So that question's getting in my way. Right, 35 minus 6, that is 29. And then over 42. And that one can't be simplified anymore. Right, mixed numbers. Be really careful. Another bad teaching that some teachers tell you, go, oh, multiply the ones and then put that to the side and multiply the fractions. Well, actually, that doesn't work with multiplying mixed numbers. It works with adding and subtracting, but not with multiplying and dividing. So be really careful. That's not good advice. Teachers tell you that. So yeah, again, mixed number, simplest form. So what I'll do first, I will tell my students, convert these into improper fractions first. So you do 1 multiplied by 4, then you add the top number. So 1 times 4 is 4, add 3 is 7. So that's 7 quarters. 1 times 2 is 2, add 1 is 3. So that'll be 3 halves. And then you'll do exactly the same as what you did before up here on this question here. We're going to do exactly the same now. We're just going to multiply across. That's 21/8. And it wants a mixed number. So how many 8s going to 21? That is 2. And then if you are struggling with this, you can just write the times table down to help you. Yeah. So that got me to 16 because I know it's 2. And then what's the difference between 16 and 21? That is 5. So 2 and 5/8 is the answer. I sometimes like to circle it just so it makes it easier for the person marking it. We don't have to do that. Right. We have some more questions. Let's keep going. So I've tried to find loads of variety. They are step up in challenge. And these are, I can almost guarantee there will be exam questions on these topics, okay, on fractions. There always is one of mixed numbers. Even the higher paper, these will be on there as well. Right. Dividing fractions, 7/8 and 3/4. So yeah, again, we're doing KFC. Keep the first one. So that'll be 7/8. Change or flip the second. That'll be 4/3. Change divide to a multiply. 28/24. And it wants a mixed number. So then that will be how many 24s. What you can do, sorry if you can't see it on the camera, then I'll bring it down. You can simplify that first and then change it, because then you might get smaller numbers. So what I'll do that on this one, I'll simplify it first. That'll be 14/12, and that'll then go to 7/6. And now that's already pretty much simplified. So that'll then be 1 and 1/6. It may not always be completely simplified. So do double check, but in this instance, it works. Okay. So I've already got my answer. Right. This one number is a mixed number, one number isn't. Convert that one. So that'll be 11/6 and multiplied by 2 ninths. 11 times 2 is 22. 6 times 9 is 54. Right. In this instance, so I'm just double checking my answer because it's a mixed number. So that doesn't actually. Yeah, that is the answer. Right. Anyone simplest form as well? I was double checking the simplest form. I thought that applied to B as well, but it doesn't because that is the answer. Right. So then we'll go to, that'll be 11/27. That's the answer for that one. Okay, right. Next one, dividing with mixed numbers. The process stays the same. Okay, so convert this to an improper fraction first. 1 multiplied by 5, add the 3's, 8/5 divided by 3/4. Because you may get a mark possibly for that. So I'm going to do KFC again. Keep the first one, flip the second one. 8/5 multiplied by 4/3, and then that'll be 32/15. And if you want to, it doesn't say you have to convert to mixed number, but that'll be 2 and 2/15. All right, next one. Just box this off. So I'll convert that again. 8/5. Oh, Kavina's going to say, oh, I apologize. I've done the same question twice, so ignore that. Right, my fault. Let's move on then. Right, last one. So adding, it does work. I could just do 2 + 1 and then work with the fractions, but that can confuse people. Whereas I rather just stick to what we know and just keep converting it. So 2 add 5 is 10. Add 1 is 11/5. That'll be plus. That'll be 8/7. And then what number is in a 5 and 7 times table? That'll be 35. That'll be 77. And that 5, that'll be 40. And that would then go to 117/35. Now in this one, it doesn't say convert to a mixed number. Just for time, I'm going to just move on for that. If it said convert to a oh, I apologize. It says to a mixed number, so I'll do that for you now. It's only 35 going to 117. So just to make it easier, I'm doing the times table aside. That'll be 105. Right, so then that's at least 3. And the difference between 105 and 117 is 12. So that'll be 12/35. And that's the answer for A. Right, for this one, I'm going to do this one down here. Right, so that'll be 7/6. So just speed up, that'll be 3/2. So that'll be 21/12, which then goes to 1 9/12. And to simplify it further, that'll be 1 and then 3/4. Right then, so that's a lot of work on fractions we've done there. We're going to move on to questions now and go a bit more wordy questions, like ordering, a bit more wordy, where they're probably a bit easier. They're probably more challenging where students make a lot of mistakes because it's just a lot of numbers, a lot of number work. Right. A bit more easy, these questions, but the key thing, you have to put your answers as a fraction. Really important. There are 30 students in a class. 20 students have brown hair. What fraction of the class have brown hair? Give your answer in its simplest form. Really important, the simplest form. Yeah. You'll get a mark. You may get a mark if you're 20/30. However, simplest form, that'll then go to 2/3. So 2 in every 3 people. Yeah, really important. The bag contains red and white sweets. There are 12 red sweets and 8 white sweets. What fraction of the sweets are white? So this way, it's told you 2 different amounts now. So it's not told you the total. So you have to get the total yourself. That's 12 plus 8, which equals 20. So I know it's going to be something out of 20. Sweets are white, and there's 8. So that'll be 4/10, which is 2/5. And that's my answer, 2/5. Let's make that a bit neater. Yeah, just wordy questions like them. So I know some students that would prefer this because it's just numbers and they know what to do. They see it straight away. Whereas where it's in numbers, that's where you know your English skills need to work. So okay, just to help you with this, yeah, you kind of have to be good at reading to access some of these maths questions, or at least at a reasonable level, just to get the concepts and spot the command words. Right, let's move on to the last page. Yeah, the last 2 pages even. Okay, so bit wordy again, a slightly different questions. Okay, involving fractions. Over one day, Rebecca spends 6 hours sleeping. What fraction of the day is Rebecca awake? Give your answer in its simplest form. So they are expecting you to know how many hours are in a day. Yeah, that is, they're okay to assume that. Okay, they should know that. We should know that is obviously 24, unless you're on a different planet, but it is 24. Right, so it's sleeping. What fraction of the day is Rebecca awake? So then that's what she's sleeping, awake. So we have to take that off. So 24 minus 6, which equals 18. So 18 over 24. And it wants simplest form. So 9 over 12, which goes to 3/4. 2 marks, maybe that question. Yeah, some of them don't always have the marks on them. So express, this word sometimes confuse students. Express 50p as a fraction of £4. Give your answer in its simplest form. Right, the biggest wrong answer, some students will go like that. Yeah, that is wrong, okay? Yeah, do not do that. And the reason being, they're two different amounts. This doesn't matter, it's cent and dollars. Yeah, it doesn't matter, okay, or cent and euros. The concept of the question is the same, the skills. We have to make these the same. You can convert that one to pounds. So they're both pounds, but that makes it a bit more tricky because that's a decimal. I'll put them both as pence. Yeah, so that'll be 50 pence and that'll be 400 pence because 100 pence in a pound. So it'll be 50 over 400. And then simplest form, what number goes into 50 and 400? Well, that will be 50. So that'll be 1. And be 50 doing 400. That'll be 8. So 1/8. Yeah, so 50p is 1/8 of £4. In exam, they're not too bothered on the answer line. You know, you can, it is fine there, but I just make it clear that is my answer. Right, let's move on. A bit more wordy, a few more different things going on. So in a bag, there are 80 beads. There are 35 yellow beads. There are 17 red beads. The rest of the beads are white. Work out what fraction of the beads are white. Give your answer in its simplest form. So it's going to be something over 80. Yeah, it's going to be something over 80. I'm going to cancel down. Sorry. Getting a cough. Right, 35 yellow, 17 red, the rest are white. So we need to add 35 plus 17, which equals 52. So my throat's going, there's a lot of talking. Our throat's going. So that's 52. Right. So 80 minus 52, which equals 28. So they must be 28 white sweets. So then we can put 28 over 80. That's probably got us the first mark. However, to get the second mark, we need simplest form. So then 28 over 80, cancel it down, 14, 40, 7, 20. Yes, that'll be your final mark. Right, ordering fractions. So there, in terms of your main fraction skills, that's what I've covered there. So in terms of adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, some wordy ones there. I'm trying to get the ones that catch students out. So now we'll look at ordering fractions because this can throw a lot of students off. It can be quite overwhelming. Typically in an exam, they might do some fractions, some decimals, some percentages, and you've got to convert them to one or the other to help. Right. So this one, arrange the fractions in order of size, starting with the smallest. Sometimes they may say ascending or descending. Ascending is smallest to biggest, descending biggest to smallest. Yeah, sometimes they can say that. So now I need to think, what number is in the 20, the 4, the 10, and the 20 times table? Well, they're all in the 20 times table. If you don't know, I would write out the times table, 12, 16, 20, and then that'll be 10, 20, and then obviously 20. They've all got the 20 times table. So then, obviously, these two are already in the 20 times table. So then convert this one. So then times 5, so that'll be 15 there. I multiplied by 2, so that'll be 14 there. Now, they're all in 20ths. Yeah, they're all now in 20ths. So now we can easily compare them. However, this is another bit where students make mistakes. They may use these fractions. Instead, you have to use the original fraction. Sometimes, possibly in the exam, you may get away with it. However, you really need to use the original ones. So then, look at this, which is the smallest. Well, that one clearly is. So 11 over 20. And then I would then cross it off so you don't forget and use it, because you might have more. You might have 5 or 6 fractions. And then the next one is this one. So the original is 13 over 20. Cross it off. And then 14 over 20. But that's 7/10. And obviously the last one is 3/4. Yeah. And it does say fractions. You could convert them to decimals if you wanted to. So some people prefer working with decimals. You could do that. But you have to use the original fractions like this. If you just guess and try to put them in order, if you're lucky, you might get a mark. However, if you do some converting and then make a mistake putting them in order, you'll still get a mark for doing some working out. Okay. Right. Last few questions. Hopefully you can see that there. I think you can just about make it out. If I went over, I don't know if this will help. Maybe, yeah, you can see a little bit there. Just on these lines here so you can see. Right then. So what fraction of this shape is unshaded? Really careful. Yeah, give your answer in its simplest form. Be careful that will catch a lot of people out because people always assume shaded and will just do, well, it's 4, 8, 10, and they'll do 10 over how many? Whereas it's not that, it's once unshaded. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 over and it's 16. And simplest form, so yet again, both even numbers, so just half it. 3/8. Yeah, be really careful. You'll get 1 mark would be for 6 over 16, and the next mark will be for 3/8. Most likely that's how it would be marked. Right, last question. So these are quite straightforward. I've actually gone back to, I've tried different questions. Not necessarily the easiest question, but slightly different. Hello, AMT 2023. I'm really good, thank you. Well, better late than never. It was always good to see you. No, thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate it. Anyone joins, if anyone's got any questions about anything or wants me to go to any more topics, do let me know. And I remembered, AMT, to use a pen and not pencil this time. As to what your comment from last time. So hopefully people can see it a lot easier. Right, so this one, what fraction of the shape is shaded? So this one does ask this time. Absolutely. Do you know what? AMT 2023, I was just thinking that before. Do you know what? I'll put the comment on here, actually. I think I can. There we go. Yeah, I was just thinking that today, actually. I was thinking about messaging you. Maybe we could do a live, we can have a chat beforehand and maybe go through some questions. I think that would be really good, actually. Hopefully get a few people watching. Well, you definitely, I'll hold you to that and we'll go through that at some point. Yeah, I'll definitely comment after this live stream. Right, last question. What fraction of this shape is shaded? So, dead easy. I would first maybe count how many altogether. So it's 5 by 7. So that's 35. So I tried to make it quickly then, because in an exam you are timed. So I worked out the area of the shape essentially. You could count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, this shape could be massive and you might make a mistake doing that. So in shaded, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you know what I'll do? Just so I don't lose count, I'm going to mark them as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 14 over 35. Right. And it does ask me my simplest form. I'm just double checking because that can't. Oh, it can be simplified. Oh, see, it almost tripped me that I did that. You can divide them both by 7. There you go. So 2/5. Yeah, again, you would get 1 mark for that one and 1 mark for that one. Yeah, thank you, AMC. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it almost caught me out that for a second. I just completely forgot that 14 and 35 was in the 7 times table. So I'll put your comment on now. Yeah, I completely forgot. But yeah, well, we all make mistakes. I have gone through about 30 questions, so I'm going to get one wrong. Right, that is my 3rd live. So I've gone through loads of fractions, adding fractions, dividing, multiplying, finding fractions of amounts. My next live stream, I was going to do one tomorrow. So do check out tomorrow's live stream, okay? Yeah, it's going to be the same time at 7:30. That's UK time as well, okay? Because I live in the UK, which is convenient. So do check it out. It's going to be on equations, solving equations. Just checking the comment. Yeah, I know, absolutely. Yeah, because I noticed when going through questions, because I've done that many exam questions, when it says simplest form, it throws me off. If I get the answer, I don't think I can simplify it straight away. Sometimes I think, why have they put that if I can't simplify it? So yeah, no, good point. That's why I always double check your working out. Always double check. Right, because I'm sure you tell your students as well the same thing. Right, thank you for joining. Thank you for commenting. And just a few people join now. If anyone does want me to go through anything, just put a comment in and I can go through some questions if anyone wants me to. Yeah. If anyone's got any ideas or anything they want me to go through, I can quickly go through something. No, is it not? If anyone's got anything, do feel free to go on my community tab and maybe message me or mess with another video, and I can make a video about it. Okay. All right. Other than that, take care. Thank you very much. Big thumbs up. And I hope I'll see you in the next live stream tomorrow. Take care. See you later.